Board of Education to order. I'd like to recognize our full house tonight. Thank you all for coming. And I'd like to thank those at home watching. And if we all could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Jones, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Engel.
Here.
Mrs. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Spindler.
Here.
Mr. Ziny.
Here.
Mr. Vincent.
Here, we have a quorum. We will continue. We have public participation. I believe we have one who submitted a request to speak. So we have Corey Ford. If you'd like to come to the front, please state your name, your address, any group affiliations, and the topic of discussion says Sunshine Week. Week.
Sunshine Week. Good evening. Is this on?
Yep.
Thank you. I do wonder. My name is Corey Ford. I live at 701 Osborne Drive, Pataskala, Ohio. It's not necessary for me to announce any group affiliations unless I'm here representing them. But Sunshine Week is nationally recognized. It is a week in which we celebrate government transparency. And I figured I'd come up and kind of give like a crack app on this. So if you look at the agenda tonight, as we go down, you probably won't slide, so I will. Down here under agreements and contracts, okay, you guys, it looks like today, item E under there, empowering behavioral health and interventions got added. If you look at the agenda, all the other contracts are there and attached. But this one got added today, and there's no attached contract. So you guys, I know you have the capability with board docs on the back end. You guys can see that contract, okay? But we as citizens out here can't. And so the first question that comes to mind is, why not? You know? And the other thing is, there's a transportation services, or there's another contract in here that says it's redacted. So you do have that capability. So there's not really a good reason for contracts that you guys are voting on tonight to not actually be attached to the agenda so that us citizens can see it. Okay? So that's what we talk about when we talk about Sunshine Week. You guys have a requirement that if we're going to talk in public that on agenda items that we register our intent 72 hours prior. If you're adding stuff to the agenda the day of, it makes it pretty difficult to speak on that agenda item, right? Especially when it comes to behavior issues and interventions, as this contract is for. IDEA requires us to offer interventions, but it doesn't necessarily require us to have therapies in all instances. Yeah, I know, it's shocking, really. Therapies should actually be directed with parents and in partnership with parents and not necessarily by the school district. And I do wonder if the reason why this contract isn't attached is because it really leaves the parents out, which this often does. So happy Transparency Week. To remind you, I do still have a public records request that's going to go on 3 weeks unanswered completely on Saturday. That has to do with a letter that I received. It was a threat letter from the district. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but that was a stupid stunt. I don't intimidate. So happy Sunshine Week, and thank you for having me tonight.
All right, moving on. We need to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Ziny.
Yes.
Mrs. Engel.
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. We'll move on to presentations. First, I'd like to welcome the Eco Warriors. Welcome back.
Yes.
Hello, we are a student-led club called the Eco Warriors, and we're out of the high school. We presented a 5-year plan last year where we focused on implementing trees around our school campus, and we are currently moving on to our wetlands phase now. At the beginning of March, we met with Ryan Moore from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources with the Fish and Wildlife sector, and we walked him through all the areas on our school campus where we wanted to focus on implementing and improving our wetlands that are currently residing there. We shared our maps with him and told him what we wanted and he said he would be willing to help us with all of our physical needs and resources. And then an update on our Groups for Grads project that we've been doing. We are planning to continue with our fundraising for that project after spring break to incorporate students into our pavers and the parents as well. We are going to continue with our plan to make it a tradition for years to come for next year's seniors as well. And the plan is to implement these pavers on the corner of Smoke Road and Route 40.
Okay, I'm Riley Stewart, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about what we have planned for what's next. So more about our wetlands. We did find out from ODNR that we do have 7 active wetlands on school grounds, and we plan on implementing signage. We're looking for fundraising and federal grants for boardwalks, or even getting involved with Boy Scouting communities to make it one of an Eagle Scout project for that. And we plan on incorporating students in the high school, agricultural and ecological focused classrooms to help create signage, and hopefully that will help increase our ability to make it an outdoor classroom for the intermediate kids or even the middle school kids. And then moving on to our trees, we plan on implementing signage for the trees as well to help enforce the educational aspect of all that we do and help incorporate our community in our plans and our projects.
And then finally, this is a pretty short presentation, mostly just an update. But finally, we have one kind of question. ODNR will only help us if the school district or the school in general will agree to a 10-year agreement that the lands won't be touched or built on. So that, that's not a signature tonight, but we were wondering if you guys would be willing to agree to that. It's 10 years. Basically, just the wetlands can't be built on or anything like that. The federal government grants are a lot in the air right now with money, so any money that we could get from ODNR would be amazing. So.
Okay, that.
I have a quick question.
Go for
So
it.
when we can't build specifically on the wetlands, that's it?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if they also said that about the trees, but I
Okay.
know definitely the wetlands are now.
Can I answer?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Sorry.
You're fine.
It is a typical agreement that the area that we would actually be restoring, we would leave for 10 years. And we've been working with Garner Miller, and we have the space, we have a map spaced out where we're sure we won't be building, and we're protecting, in case we do something by the softball fields, those kinds of things, it's back from there, and it goes to the woods. So we've been working with them in Dr. Perkins' office to identify that area that we will build. So it is a place free of the road, if we would add the road for 5-6, it would be free of anything that we are planning to build in the next future, so.
Do they have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's very typical, Granville has a lab out there too, and they have the same thing, we just signed another one for 10 years. So it's just so that they don't put money into it and restore it, and then we, 3 years from now, say, oh, now we're gonna do this.
I was gonna say, do they provide a definition of building, if we were to create a natural trail, if the cross-country team wanted to use is that,
Yeah, that would not impact it.
okay,
This would be if we wanted to raise,
Gotcha.
eliminate the wetlands.
Sure.
Which we couldn't anyway because of drainage, it's a very
Yeah.
intricate, as I know the last few weeks, all that stuff together, so. No, it would not impact that at all. And, phase 4 maybe for the Warriors is they would actually like to create that space in the woods, and specifically that we can actually use that for things that would help too. So that would actually tie with the cross
Yeah, it's probably important. So.
All right, is this something that you guys could work together to kind of get a proposal together for the board, or at least where we could visually see specifically the areas we're talking about for wetlands
Yep.
and whatnot?
Dr. Ball and I have been working together, so
Okay.
we'll get something together and bring it
So
back.
we'll just have it on our radar
Yeah,
for now.
Perfect.
And
Thank
we
you so
appreciate you
much.
bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ladies.
All right, nice job. All right, next, I'd like to move to the positive building spotlight for Kirkersville. So Kirk, come on down. Welcome. Awesome. You guys can come closer to us. It's fine. We don't bite.
Well,
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm Shannon Keene, the principal at Kirkersville Elementary School. To start our presentation, we brought part of the choir in. They meet once a week. Just for, Mrs. Haynes, how long are you guys meeting? 8 weeks?
I think it's 10.
10 weeks? I was close, sorry about that. But they have a song they would like to sing for you guys.
If you all would please stand.
Great job, that was lovely. As we were talking about what we wanted to do to present to you guys to show you a little bit about our building. I don't know if you've been on our Facebook page very often or not, but Mrs. Cahill, our assistant principal over here, does a fantastic job taking videos and just getting the gist of what happens during the day. So we thought if you could turn your attention to the TV, we would show you a day in the life of a Kirkersville kid.
Roger. I'm just kidding. That was a shame.
Good morning, Colcats. Joining me for the pledge is Sydney and Paisley. Please stand for the pledge at this time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's say the Kirkersville pledge together.
What'd you have yesterday? Today's word is decline. What part of speech do you think it is?
How many dots do we give it? 4. W, what? And we're going to put in our letters. Ready?
Hi, I'm Owen, and I want to tell you about some things I like about my school. I'm in 2nd grade, and I'm in Miss Breslow's class, and my name's Owen. I think I already said that. What I'm worried about is, like, how to spell things, phonics. I love that one because we get to talk about, like, how to spell the word and what word it comes next and stuff.
E-D. How do we spell Sweet Mason?
S-W-E-D.
Yes, S-W-E-D-E. We have to add that E on the end, right? Otherwise it would say, what would it say without the E on the end? Sweat, right?
Lunchtime because it's fun where I can eat all the food I like. And try out different foods I haven't tried yet. Like macaroni and cheese. I've tried that before. It's not really my favorite, but I do kind of like it a little bit. Easy!
What is your name?
Logan.
How old are you, Logan? Favorite part of the day?
Lunch. Recess. Lunch and recess. Second recess, lunch, and snack time.
Yeah.
And snack and lunch. Kindergarten's the best grade. I like the big slide, and I like the monkey bars.
So you can go like this. You can glue it on here, or like this.
I'm always like, yeah, I just
Kason, can he come to yours?
No, because I'm lipstick on.
Highlight our sentence starters. So, the first one is, in my opinion. Go ahead and highlight it.
People call me Ollie, but my real name is Ollie.
Right, Ollie, what do you like about first grade?
I like all the learning I'm doing and math equations and mostly Miss Houston.
And on your own, I want you to figure out how many more to make 10.
5, 6.
1, 3. What's the number? Tell Mrs. Cahill.
Hello, my name is Abram, and I'm 6 years old. I love kindergarten because I have a nice teacher, and I'm in Miss Howe's class, and she's really talented about stuff we do and stuff like math playstations, literacy centers, just a lot of stuff that is fun. And
What is the perimeter of the shape? This one's a lot easier.
Yeah, I've done this.
You're out.
teacher's name is Miss Fossey, and my favorite thing is learn and make new friends.
So we are going to fold it up. Is this a triangular prism?
Yes.
And I need to do 3 times 4. Carson, 3 times 4. 12. Very good.
My name is Lila. I am 9 years old and I am in 3rd grade. The best part about school is seeing the teachers every day.
Is honesty. Be truthful to yourself and to others. Casey Messer, Knox Hogue, Shredders Chapel. It's a G. Well, the rest of us, let's give these kindergarten honesty winners another round of applause. Hey, nice job, first grade honesty winners. Everybody that won an award is involved in this game. You have to build the tallest tower between each grade level. And you only have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Set, go!
Thank you so much for allowing us to show that video. As you can see, our students are our pride and joy, and our staff do an amazing job with all the learning and teaching and also making it so much fun. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Don't. That's a jam-packed day.
Yeah. There's so much that goes on every day. It was hard to squish it all down into one video. I think Chelsea said she started with 54 minutes?
54 minutes. I know that was long.
Yeah.
We got it down.
We thought we'd get in trouble for that.
I have a question. What is your favorite lunch meal?
On Wednesdays, it's always rather a Domino's pizza and Jets. I love burgers.
Nice,
Do
nice.
anybody else? Oh, mac and cheese. Oh, hey.
Ice cream.
Yes.
We've stepped it up.
Right. Ice cream. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Potatoes, yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Guess we won't
you
ask
so
what
much.
we need to take away.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys sounded great. Thank you.
Yeah, very good job. Thank you.
You're good. I thought you'd be out of it.
Great job.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along, positive building spotlight. We've got Watkins Intermediate. And welcome.
Well, hello, good evening. My name's Jeff Hammond. I'm an assistant principal at Watkins Intermediate. So we just wanted to do a couple building highlights, and I was going to go ahead and start off. I want to talk about our attendance incentives that we're doing at Watkins Intermediate. Last year we talked a little bit about Stay in the Game, and that's a program that I do, or an incentive that I do with the students on an individual basis. We have, I believe, 14 fifth graders and 10 fourth graders that I meet with regularly to check on their attendance. We set goals, they can earn rewards, build a relationship, make them know that we appreciate them being here, just being a positive influence. And so we've seen some good improvement there. And then we started a new one, a school-wide incentive program. Ms. Tonsky, our guidance counselor, actually got this going, and she runs it. And we started it in the third quarter, January 21st. And basically, if a homeroom has 100% attendance, they can earn a letter. And so they chose the word HEART, which we talk about Warrior Heart, and it's an acronym that our students use. And so we really worked on that. The students were pretty excited about it. Half of the classrooms got there by the end of February. We didn't see great improvement with attendance. I think the primary reason is we had a lot of illnesses. They were spiking at the end of January, and in February we had a lot of cases of the flu and whatnot. But we've seen an increase here in March. So in March 3rd, we did a different word, Warriors, and students can earn, I forgot to tell you, for the heart, when they got the word heart, they got all 5 letters, they earned heart-shaped suckers that passed out to the class, and then they got their photo taken, put it on Facebook, so they were pretty excited. We do a lot with Warrior News, so they were broadcast over that. But then our second word, Warriors, we just started. We have seen a pretty good improvement, and so I took the attendance for the second quarter and the attendance from March 3rd until today, and we improved by 3 days. 3 absences per day, so we did see some improvement. So the kids are excited. Ms. Tonsky's been working really hard at it, and you know, it's a battle sometimes with the attendance, but we're really working hard at it, and I think we're going to see some improvements by the end of the year. So Ms. Carly Worrell is going to come up, and she's going to give another building highlight.
Thank you. So I'm Carly Worrell, one of the other assistant principals at the intermediate school, so thank you for having us. We have a ton of nice things going on in the building, so we just wanted to highlight a couple. Right to Read Week was a huge week for us in our building that happened on February 24th through the 28th. Our teachers and students jumped into our theme for HEART, like Mr. Hammond was talking about. That acronym stands for our Warrior Heart that we talk about all the time. So we are, go to the next slide, Jeff, sorry. We had our teachers decorate our pods, and students were able to go around the building and read our one book for one school that we bought for our PTO purchased for our students, called Out of My Mind. So all students in the building, 4th and 5th graders, were reading the same book for that week, and actually carried on for multiple weeks, but we focused on it really in that week, which was awesome to see. The kids were excited. They loved the book. The character in the book actually had cerebral palsy, and it was a good learning and teachable moment for the kids, showing kindness and things to those that maybe have different disabilities or different outlooks on life. She needed a device that she needed to use to communicate, and then once she got that device, it opened up her world and friendship. So it was awesome. The kids said that they loved the book. They got stamps along the way, they got prizes along the way, they had daily trivia that they were involved in. You can go ahead and go to the next one. But we would walk around the building and see different classes and different pods, so that was cool for the 4th graders to go to a 5th grade pod and be able to enjoy a space, a different type of space for reading. So those were all decorated based on favorite books. So we had a magic school bus, we had a Hatchet, which they had read at the beginning, so that's kind of that tent there. The kids loved it. So we had a donut surprise for the kids that read the entire book, which ended up being about 350 kids in our building reading an entire book, and they got to walk away with the hardback book, which was awesome. So that was a very cool thing that our PTO was able to do for us. Go ahead. Going along with Right to Read Week, our Warrior Leaders group, so this was something that started a couple years ago, kind of like a student council group, kind of like a student leadership group in our building. It's called Warrior Leaders. It's led by Mr. Zuber and Mrs. Luckett, and they have really dug into these kids, and these kids come up with these great ideas, and we're like, hey, why not? Let's do it. So going along with our theme for Right to Read Week, we partnered with firefighters actually across the country. They do this Fill the Boot. You guys have probably seen them out with their firemen boots, and they are walking the streets and they're asking for donations at a certain amount of time. All of these donations for the firefighters when they're doing this is for muscular dystrophy. So this kind of lined up with our Right to Read Week theme, and we challenged the building to $50, raising $50 to fill your boot for each class in our building, which we were thinking about $800 would we have walked away with. We crushed it, and we raised over $2,200 in 1 week. So, and I say we, but really it was our students, it was initiated by them, and then our families and our community. They came together and they said this is a worthy cause for us. So we were able to deliver this check. Our Warrior Leaders are up there with Mr. Zuber, Ms. Luckett, and Mr. Pratt. We were able to give that check to the West Licking Fire Department, and they actually said, side note, that's the biggest donation, that's the biggest thing they've ever raised for Fill the Boot. So, and that came from our building, which we're pretty proud of that and excited. So those were just a few of our highlights from our building. Any questions, you can direct them to Mr. Pratt.
Awesome. Thank you. That's exciting.
Yes.
Love the community service. All right. Moving right along, we have a request to speak on agenda items. First, we have Maggie Walwyn. And Maggie, if you could just come up to the mic. The mic is for the people at home, not for the people in here. You could just give your name, address, group affiliation, and which agenda item you're talking about.
Sure. My name is Maggie Wallen, and my office address is 2000 Commerce Drive in Pittsburgh, 15275.
Okay.
I'm here to speak on Williams, and we're going to introduce our company and a project that we have in the area. Unfortunately, I do not have a song prepared, but
you're
I
good.
loved seeing what your students are doing in your school district.
And just to pause you real quickly, I neglected to tell you, you do have 5 minutes. So,
Okay, I'm good.
Timer's up. I saw it going, but I forgot to tell you.
No worries,
so
thank you.
You're good.
So Williams owns and operates more than 33,000 miles of pipeline. That includes our Transco pipeline system, which is our largest by volume. It moves about a third of the nation's natural gas supply, and it runs from southern Texas to New York City. So that is what we own and operate. We don't own the product inside it. We're just responsible for transporting it to our customers and then giving reliable and affordable natural gas to all of our customers, who then take it to you to heat your homes, cook your food, that sort of thing. We do have a presence in 24 states. We are not new to Ohio, although new to this area. In Ohio, we have operations in Columbiana County, Harrison County, and Carroll County, and we have a district office in Canton, Ohio as well. In Ohio, we focus on our gathering and processing assets, and those provide wet and dry gas gathering and transportation infrastructure and connects the supplies from Marcellus and the Utica Shale markets. In Ohio, we have over 1,200 miles of pipeline total, including transmission and gathering, and over 250 employees that live and work here. As I said, we are new to this area, but one of the things that we like to do is get involved in our communities, and that's probably my favorite part of my job, finding ways to give back. That's the heart of what we do, whether it's schools, fire departments, nonprofit organizations. We've given over $1.5 million to Ohio in the past 10 years. Some of my favorite projects we've gotten to work on are supporting STEM programs in schools, providing AED kits to schools that did not have them. Another item I loved was trout stocking with 5th graders. 4,000 trophy-sized trout went into the stream behind their elementary school. So we're always looking for unique ways to partner with our communities to make places a little bit better than we found them. So I'm done with my portion. I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues, and they're going to talk about a project that we have in the area.
All right, so thank you very much, Maggie or Ms. Wallen. We appreciate it. Now we have a request to speak on agenda item from Brian Hale and Stephen Armitrout for project overview. Again, speaking on the agenda item, if you could just give your names, your address, your group affiliation, and which agenda item you're talking about.
Yeah, my name's Brian Hale. My office is 30351 Route 6 in Wysox, Pennsylvania. Pretty big area in Northeast PA. And we're with Williams. Steve Armitrout.
Yep, Steve Armitrout with Williams, 111 Enterprise Drive in Connellsville, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So as Maggie said, we wanted to meet with y'all tonight to talk about a big project we're working on in the area. Right now we are looking at supplying some energy starting in Fairfield County, working our way up to the new Albany Industrial Business Park that's being built now up in that area. So we got about 30 miles of pipe that's going to run from Fairfield to New Albany up through the industrial park.
Okay.
And we're going to be supplying gas for 2 power generation facilities at the moment. Right now, the customer is a well-established customer in the area. They're working through some permits on their expansions. So once that stuff comes out, we can discuss more on who the end customer is. But for right now, due to some NDAs, we can't discuss the end customer. So that brings us to why we're here tonight. We're looking, part of the project does cross the property with the high school on it that we're looking to do. Right now, we'd be crossing Route 40 with what we call a conventional bore. So we would be on the south side with a machine, and we would bore under there and slide the pipe through. From there, we would be running along the existing natural gas and utility corridor that kind of runs along 40 and then up Smoke Road for about 915 feet. And then again, we would be doing another conventional bore of Smoke Road to get under that road onto a neighboring property on Smoke. It'd be a conventional build through there. We strip the topsoil, segregate that, pull the subsoil, segregate that. We would then ditch our line, string, weld our pipe, put it in the ditch, and then cover it back up in the order we took the dirt out. That would take probably 3 to 4 weeks, we figured, on that property for that section of the pipeline. It is a winter build, so a lot of times we're scheduled end of first quarter this year into the second and third quarter next year for the entire project. So a lot of times during the winter, we'll do what's called a winter stabilization, where we'll leave the topsoil off at first, and we'll just seed and mulch the area, and then come back when we get the better weather. We would bring that topsoil back and then return it to the condition it was at to be good with. So I think that's the high-level scope of our project. We're just kind of coming to you to give it to you and kind of seek approval to move forward with the easements. I believe our agent's been in contact with a couple of you and has given you those easements. And yeah, that's it. Well, like Maggie said, we do like to partner with everybody. I'm in the land department. A big thing we always say is building trusted partnerships, and the landowners we work with are definitely partners in our projects. And you're going to have the pipeline on you for as long as it's in service, and we just want to know that we're there to be your partner and be a good person to the community and to the school board. So.
Okay. Thank you for your time. When we get to that portion of the agenda, if it is moved, and you're welcome to stay. If we have questions, we may ask you guys some.
No problem.
But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks. All right. Request to speak. Next, we have Teamsters, Local 413. Sorry, no one, and Southwest Licking Education Association. Thank you very much. We now need approval of minutes. I think we can take those together.
Motion to approve 5A and B. Second.
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, those minutes are approved. We'll move on to the financial report. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Jones, would you like to discuss?
Included on the agenda is the executive summary for February 28th. Fairly routine month. We did start receiving property tax advances for the first half calendar year 25 property tax settlement. The advances came in higher, but we do not expect them to, in the end, to be larger than we budget, and we have those numbers now. So the numbers actually came within about within $30,000. So we get $30,000 at the end more than we expected. So we'll take $30,000 out of about $30 million. So we got really close on estimating there. Everything else is fairly routine. I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
I have none. I read it. Thank you. Anybody? Okay, Mr. Jones, the roll, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, the financial report has been approved. We'll move on to the personnel consent calendar.
Motion to approve 7A through L.
Second?
Dr. Perkins?
Just a couple of things to share. We're starting our hiring season, so you're going to start to see new hires on there. We do have some on this month. A couple of things I wanted to point out. We are hiring Dave Zweibel. I hope I said his last name correct. He's a new assistant principal at Kirkersville. He's a community member. He will have 2 students in Kirkersville Elementary next year. He's coming to us from Pickerington, where he's currently an elementary principal. So we'll bring lots of experience to that building, and we're really excited for you guys to meet him. And he wasn't able to be here this evening, and to join our team. So I wanted to point that out. And then also, it's also that time of year where retirements start to roll in, unfortunately. And we have 3 on this agenda, long-time, very dedicated employees of this district: Shelley Gardner, Amy Dennison, and John Jarvis. So we'll obviously celebrate all our retirees at an upcoming board meeting, but did want to point that out as well because they will definitely be missed. And that's it.
All right. Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, those have all been approved. We'll move on to business items. I think we could probably take those all together.
Second.
Motion approved 8A through C.
Second.
All right.
So I'll just run through these. We have a baseball trip to Tennessee that is over spring break, so that's no school miss for the kids. We have an MOU with CTEC for our 2 new programs for our students next year, the engineering and the multi-craft. So we're super excited to bring those programs and offerings to our students. And then a resolution of impracticality, which we often have on the board when it's deemed impractical to transport kids. In this situation, there's 2 students on there for that. And I can take any questions if you have them.
None? Pretty standard, thank you.
Yeah.
I've read through them. Anybody? Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, those business items have been approved. We'll move on to the agreements. Maybe we'll do them separately.
Motion to approve 9A.
Second.
So this is a Power for School agreement for electrical generation for all of our schools. Obviously, we go through a consortium, we get a little better pricing. It's just for schools only. So our current contract with them expires, I think, June 30th. So this is to renewing our existing contract with Power for Schools.
Okay. Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, that's approved. We'll move on to 9B if someone wants to motion it.
Motion to approve 9B. Second.
We have a second. Mr. Jones, did you want to speak on this at all?
So basically, we have an easement request from Williams Company to put a pipeline in. Is it 20 inches? 24-inch pipeline through a portion of our existing campus there to the west, close to Smoke Road, off of 40 up, I don't know exactly how many feet, and then back over to Smoke Road to continue from there. So the agreement's been reviewed by attorney. There's been some back and forth, and this is kind of the final version of the basic easement request. There's the picture there. Jeff Cameron's putting on the screen to kind of show you where basically the estimated location of the pipeline would be. Is it liquid natural gas or dry? Do we know? Dry natural gas. So.
I have one question.
Yeah, ask whatever.
This is more a question like, does this affect any of those wetlands that we were talking about with the Eco Warriors, with the ODNR?
No, I don't think there's no wetlands there at all.
Okay.
Not all.
This is basically just along the roadway along Smoke, correct?
Yes.
Crosses Route 40 and then parallel Smoke Road.
Yeah.
Is this, go ahead.
I'm very concerned about our Eco Warriors. None of the trees that they've currently got in place are good? Okay.
Yeah, we do have to do the same wetland studies as we go a pipeline project. We have to come out and do the same wetland studies and file permits with ODNR, Ohio DEP, those type of organizations, to see if there's any wetlands there.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly where all their stuff is, and I know they've just worked really hard, so I just want to make sure whatever they've done doesn't get undone or it gets fixed afterwards.
Yeah, they would return to the conditions in now, so they would put them back if they did happen to do that.
I have a few concerns / questions. First, is this safe for schools? Safe around schools, safe around school buildings?
Yes.
And what evidence or data do we have to support that?
So these pipelines are built to basically DOT code 192, which tells you how to design a pipeline.
Okay.
We design it per an area classification study, which looks at house counts, looks at schools, any other buildings. So as you get a higher area classification, the pipe's actually thicker in those locations, so we can save. So it's designed to any federal code that we have to follow when we build these pipelines.
Do you have any pipelines like this near other school buildings in the nation? Like this close to a school building?
Yeah, we do.
You do,
Yep.
but not in Ohio. No, I guess it doesn't really matter where, but you do have.
Yes.
And roughly, how long have they been there?
The ones in Virginia have been there
Over
over 100 years.
100 years?
Decades for a lot of them.
One of the oldest pipelines in the country.
Okay. All right. My other questions kind of relate to,
John,
yes.
we're asking them a lot of questions, and I'm just concerned that the folks online can't hear their responses.
Oh,
so-
fair enough. That's a
Would you
great
come up
point.
to, please,
Yeah.
yes.
I didn't even think about that. Thank you. That's a great idea. So I guess my next question, you may not be able to answer this, but why this side of the road? Because there's 4 quadrants here. Why the school's quadrant?
That's just the route we were looking at now. We've had discussions with some other folks. There's some properties that are for sale that they just don't want to work with us.
Okay.
They don't want us going through them because they're trying to sell their properties and they're just not willing to entertain it at this
Okay. And I'm kind of novice to all this. How different of a gas line is this from, say, the typical gas line that would go into a building?
So we're taking, the gas that we're getting is off a transmission company, which is higher pressure. That is then cut down by a distribution company, which is what feeds your local buildings and towns.
Okay.
And things. So it's a lower pressure, so it's good for your appliances, your heating appliances, your ovens, your stoves, those type of things. So this is the same gas that would feed towns, cities, schools.
Okay. And then the other concern that I have is not knowing who this is for. You said that will be forthcoming.
It will be. Right now, they're working through their permit process for their expansion.
Okay.
Once those permits are approved.
And by forthcoming, do you mean it will be after all government entities approve this or all people approve this, or will it be forthcoming regardless of that?
It'll be forthcoming regardless.
Okay, so if we don't make a decision tonight, it is possible that in a month or two, it will be disclosed as to who this is for.
Yeah, I think potentially.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So this is going clear up to New Albany, so the end users are going to be up in New Albany Park, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So.
Any other questions?
I'm just, and this is just questioning, what, I guess, what does it matter to us who the end user is? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's Intel, or if it's Google, or if it's Microsoft, or one of those other fancy companies up in New Albany, what does it, do you see what I'm saying? I'm not sure what, I'm not sure why that would be limiting. I mean, either we want it to go and we're good, we're okay with the offer they've given us, or we're not. I'm not understanding, does that, I guess I don't understand why it matters who the end user is.
I guess my issue is I'm being asked to approve something that's going next to a school building, and I don't know who owns it and where it's going to. And I just don't like that. I feel like with it being.
We own the pipeline.
They own the pipeline.
We own it, we operate it.
Yeah, and we'll continue. You will own it. I mean, you own the pipelines in Virginia, you own the pipelines in.
And that was one of the things on the easement we discussed, was not being able to assign it to anybody else, other than another affiliate of Williams.
Okay.
So Williams will own and operate this pipeline.
We're supplying gas to a customer in the industrial park. We own the assets that's in there.
Yes, and that was me that just threw out names. I did not.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not any
no,
information I know, I'm just.
Those were fancy names.
Those were fancy names.
Yes. All right, Ms. Moore, did you have any questions?
I guess my biggest question is, what happens if something goes wrong? Who's liable?
Williams is a company, we can be liable.
And if you sold it to somebody else, the other company would be liable.
Yes, but again,
Yeah, it's now, they can't sell it to anybody other than themselves.
but yes.
A wholesaler, yeah.
In normal easements, if we assign that to somebody, they take on all responsibility of that easement. That's part of the assignment.
But there's a thing in there that we'd have to approve them doing anybody other than a subsidiary of WIN. Yeah.
Right,
So.
right. And I appreciate that addition to that. I just don't think I know. I don't know enough. Of course, when I saw it, I quickly got online and started doing the whole Google search and everything, and of course, everything pops up. That's why you don't look at WebMD when you're sick. So,
Do we have a money
Yes.
offer?
Yeah, but I don't think it's disclosable.
Yeah, it's in the agreement.
Is it? Oh, okay.
It's $250,000.
Okay.
How much?
$250,000 for that
You
right.
can provide your safety records. Those are public information, correct?
That would be very good. And I know this is not, I would also like to see where there were some incidents and some problems. And if there were, how about we put that, if there were, and what was the remedy? It could be something small.
I mean, we really haven't had it.
Yeah, so this pipeline will be governed by Ohio Power Siting Board. So they have jurisdiction as we install a pipeline. They tell us what codes to build it to. They have jurisdiction to come out and inspect the pipeline at any type of time. So that's kind of who we report to on a pipeline like this. There's requirements in there. It's a metal pipe. It's got wall thickness to contain the pressure. There's requirements to have corrosion protection on these type of pipelines so that water doesn't get on it, it doesn't erode, it's coated. So we fully have to report to them each year during each audit session on what's our plan for this pipeline and what's the installation that's on it today. We've got to do readings yearly on these type of things and submit those to a lot of those jurisdiction agencies in order to prove that, yes, we are capable of operating this pipeline in a safe condition.
We run a smart tool, yes.
Yeah.
So we would run a tool through the pipe that measures any kind of density to that pipe. We do that and that reports back. So if there is some kind of corrosion, we know well ahead of time, and then we can go in.
That's an annual thing?
All right.
Are there any sensors inside Or any?
There are
Okay.
on ends of the pipe, there's
Okay.
pressure sensors and temperature sensors.
Okay.
So if there was a loss of
Yes.
pressure, we would be notified.
Those things are notifying our gas control units, which are 24/7, kind of monitoring these type of assets throughout the country.
I work in my day job on the opposite side of this. We actually provide equipment to not Williams, but some other big pipeline names.
Okay.
And they are extremely sensitive in their system requirements, in their emergency. They have multi-million dollars of equipment that is required to monitor transmission areas, compressor station areas. I know that's not your side of the part of it, but oil and gas industry has pretty significant safety requirements that I've seen on the opposite, on another side.
Right.
It's not the school side, not running the pipe right through, but just on. So they extremely requirements.
I have a really silly question, maybe.
Absolutely.
So we have gas going to our school right now, correct?
Yes.
What's the difference between the pipe that delivers that gas than this pipe?
So that gas is probably, this gas, the gas running through this pipe usually delivers it to a distribution company, which is where you guys currently get your gas from the school. So we are transporting gas, more like a transmission line, as she stated. So it's higher volumes of gas to distribution companies. They take the gas, then give it to schools, residents, businesses.
But
Oh,
the
you're asking
pipe
about
that
that,
we get
the
our gas
material.
from, how much smaller is it than the pipe that you're?
It can be a lot smaller. You can get even down to 2 inch. If you guys have gas to your house and it could be a 1 inch or 2 inch piece of pipe that runs to your house, just because you're not using near as much gas volume
Okay.
as what industrial parks.
Just wanted to understand that.
Yeah.
So I think as a board, we have, in my mind, we have two options, and you guys can go, we have a motion on the floor. We could vote it up or down, or we could table it until more information becomes available. I don't know what you all think.
I don't personally have an issue with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
All right. We ready to vote? Okay. Mr. Jones, call the roll.
Okay. Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
No.
Mr. Ziny,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
No, that passes. We will move on to.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. 9C, D, and E, we probably could take together.
Motion 9C, D, and E. You guys don't have to stick around either.
Yeah, if you guys, you're
Go
welcome
home.
to stay, but
You don't have
Pittsburgh's a
to.
long drive.
Pittsburgh's
Yes.
3 hours.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Yes.
Yes, we have a motion from Mrs. Moore.
Second.
Who wants it?
Go to Tammy.
Okay.
Dan, I was gonna have Mr. Davis kind of share,
Sure.
if that's okay. I was gonna have Dan Davis come up and share. Dan, you wanna walk us through those three, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
So a lot of times we'll get students who move into the district middle of the year who come to us outside placed. And so part of the contract issue is making sure we visit different outside placements, then meet with families, see what are good fits, then get contract language together. So sometimes those can come in opportune times. The issue for waiting another month sometimes is that delays the student start date. So that's sometimes with there. And then transportation-wise, sometimes it's impractical for safety reasons to transport a student on a regular school bus. So generally, when these sort of individual parent contracts are on, it is because the other option would be a much more expensive barrier car or something like that. So we're talking $25,000 to $45,000 as opposed to having the parent transport. Any questions?
Mr. Davis, these particular contracts are for students with disabilities?
Yes.
Who have significant behavioral and educational needs?
Significant, yes.
That we are supporting them by keeping them part of our district but not able to support them in our local buildings. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
is not mental health therapy. This is significant behavioral and educational
Typically,
requirements, correct?
behavior that's either dangerous to other students or a significant other physical or cognitive that results in dangerous or escalated behavior. Yep.
Thank you very much.
You said what kind of behavior?
Escalated.
Oh, escalated.
Yep. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, those have been approved. We'll move on to treasure items, donations. I think we could take all of them.
Motion to approve 10A through C, and A are donations with thank yous.
Second.
Okay.
Again, we have A, thank you for donations. We always like those. B is a statement of purpose for student activity we just received that for. And then C is a transfer, part of the repayment of the concession stand renovation cost that we agreed, that's going to be paid from athletic account, part of an agreement for the boosters putting the batting cages in for the softball and baseball. So be glad to answer any specific questions you might have by any of those.
I don't. I can say, going to the booster meetings and talking with them monthly, this was part of what they had been talking about, and I know they're appreciative of, and the students are appreciative of this being able to have happened, so I think we're good.
Some nice robotics and athletics donations.
Very nice.
And Eco Warrior
Then,
donation.
Yeah.
And those are coming in one by one. Those are nice as well, so.
All right. Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Zani,
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes. That is approved. We'll move on to Dr. Perkins, superintendent comments.
Okay, just a few things tonight. I was told there's a basketball game or something out at 7 to keep it brief.
There's wrestling.
Wrestling.
NCAA
Yeah, that is,
wrestling.
now you're speaking my love.
Well, I thought you were talking about the tournament, but
That is the tournament.
Now she has nothing to say.
Yeah, now I have no comments. No, just kidding. I did want to update you on our, I can't remember if it's our third or fourth year that we've had our own Licking County Job Fair, but
Yeah.
our school district alone interviewed, had over 120 interviews. So, I mean, to say that event has grown and is a huge success from when we started it, post-pandemic, when there were no college job fairs. Tanya Sherburne did an amazing job putting it all together. It was very well run, and the feedback I've received from superintendents, they're extremely appreciative that we continue to offer that every year, and we are bringing back a ton of amazing candidates to interview over spring break for positions. So, very exciting for the district and others. I want to give an update just on kindergarten enrollment. At this week, keep track of by week for each year, the last 3 or 4 years. And last year at this time, we had 80 students currently enrolled in kindergarten. We currently have 106 enrolled, and we have 75 in the queue that are starting the enrollment process. So either people are way ahead this year, or I don't know if we're going to have a really large kindergarten class. So we'll see how the next few months pan out, but we will be watching that. The Arts Festival is coming up, just kind of wanting to put some people's radar at the end of April. That is when we always do our empty bowls, as well as all of our music programs in each of the grade levels and buildings perform. And obviously we have the art show too. So a lot of exciting things coming in the coming month. And then on Monday after spring break, we have our annual Wellness Waiver Day. So if you want to swing by the high school, there will be a lot of activities going on to promote mental health with our staff and physical well-being as well. And I hope that people are excited and really looking forward to that. And that is all I have tonight.
Awesome, thank you.
This might be our COVID baby year.
What do you mean?
Oh, the kindergarten?
Yeah, there were lots of babies from COVID, and this is our COVID. Would that be right?
It would be.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
boy.
this
Could be.
our COVID baby.
Could be.
But they
large
wouldn't be
kindergarten.
born.
Would they be born in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So that would,
They'd be born though in the fall.
Oh, would they? Okay.
I feel like. I don't
I
know.
don't know, I'm just thinking.
It's been a
like
minute
5 years,
since
I'm
I
like,
got
oh, no, it's our COVID kindergarten class.
It could be.
Yeah.
all right. Last up, we have adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel, I'm sorry, yeah, Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mr. Ziny.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes, we are adjourned at 7:06.